Hi, I'm Amarzish Kadir, and today I will be presenting the recognition system for behavior and activities of daily living among patients with dementia using smart algorithms and assistive technology. So, dementia is a syndrome consisting of a group of symptoms that cause progressive brain dysfunction and impairment of cognition or intellect. Dementia usually manifests as a problem with memory and orientation and thinking process to an extent that it decreases a functionality in the activities of daily living. So traditionally, monitoring the functional capability and cognition of people with dementia is assessed through questionnaires or clinical interviews during the clinical visit. But recent technology-based assessment systems can facilitate the continuous monitoring of patients in their own living environment. To date, several studies have focused on the activity recognition and routine detection using in-home sensors. Some studies have focused on the detection of cognitive changes using a combination of motion, pressure, and like door sensors. So for the recognition of daily activities, the remote monitoring of environmental parameters and how they can cause or mediate any disease, and the monitoring of human daily living activities and physiological parameters are among the vast applications in the field of healthcare. Vision-based systems and cameras are very useful to monitor the gait activities and detect the physical impairment. The most accurate mechanism for activities recognition and monitoring include the video-based strategies, such as using the video cameras or depth cameras or maybe thermal cameras. So monitoring system for assisted homes may include the capability of recognizing behavior and certain patterns of human daily activities in order to mediate and detect the possible symptoms of a certain disease, whether mental or physical. So ADL address the daily life activities of people in their own home environments without requiring any assistance to execute them. The ability to perform such elementary routine while aging determines the person's physical and psychological health status and their ability to live independently. Such monitoring can definitely help to track the possible development of mental illness associated with the aging. So for the background here, I have 3 or 4 studies where Fury et al. Developed a system for detecting the activities of daily living based on different sensing technology. For example, he used the infrared presence sensors were used for the location purposes, microphones to identify different sounds of the daily living activities, and then he also used the wide angle web cameras to detect the time stamp of the activities of daily living for supervised machine learning algorithms. And he also used the wearable kinematic sensors with the accelerometer and magnetometers were implemented to detect and classify the transition in posture and walking periods. So then there was another study in the Washington State University. There was a project, and that was meant to develop a smart home and detect the broad activities such as eating, sleeping, or wandering. Then Gaviat et al. Implemented a lifestyle monitoring system to detect the ambiguities and anomalies in the activities of daily living patterns that may indicate possible symptoms of the disease. Then lastly, we have Yigang Du et al., which implemented a system for human activity prediction. Time sequences were considered because certain activities tend to happen right next to our previous activity. For example, like watching a TV after having a dinner. So here you see there is a pattern of activities, having dinner and then watching a TV. And so a lot of research has been done on recognizing a single behavior or many behaviors separately. Then scenario-based detection was introduced, in which the activities or behavior of a person in a given scenario was detected. Most of the existing research focus exclusively on physiological parameters or environmental data and often neglect their correlation. So this work is focused on pattern recognition techniques, in which we will try to identify the pattern of different activities. Activity recognition algorithms depend on data collected using the sensors in the home, and daily activities such as entering or exiting the building, walking or sleeping routine, moving in the kitchen and corridors depend on the layout of the building, obstacles, and human behavior. So activity recognition has some unique machine learning challenges. For example, sometimes the data does not indicate the type of activity. So activity recognition consists of several steps, which include like raw sensor data collection, data pre-processing and segmentation, feature extraction, and then machine learning. So this project will integrate physiological and environmental data and will utilize the adaptive algorithm where the relationship between the environmental and the physiological data will be considered in extracting the health and well-being related information and detecting any unusual behavior of patients for continuous monitoring of people with dementia in their own homes. So the goal of the current work is to develop an innovative living environment which will empower people with dementia and their caregivers to benefit from health support and have better quality of life in their own homes. So I have identified some several data sets which are available to detect the activities of daily living. And in most of the data sets, human activities are perceived by a sequence of state changes. Here I have like several data sets of smart home projects which are publicly available and can be used for testing the most suitable machine learning algorithms for the activities of daily living. For example, in the MSR daily activities 3D dataset, this dataset is a daily activity dataset captured by a kinetic device, and there are like 16 activity types in this dataset available. And this includes like drinking, eating, reading a book, calling on the cell phone, write on a paper, use laptop, vacuum cleaning, cheer up, sitting still, toss a paper, or maybe play a game, lay down on sofa, walk and stand up, sit down. So these are all of the kind of activities which are available in this dataset and can be used in training the algorithm. Then there is another data set, which is in which there are like 10 action types, which include like walk, sit, stand up, pick up anything from the floor, or maybe carry, throw, push, pull, wave hand, maybe clap a hand. So different activity data sets are available online. And generally, activities are detected either through the specific rules or by applying the learning techniques using labeled or unlabeled data. So here data sets are identified and each data set has a different set of activities. So we kind of have a lot of data to detect the activities of any person. So this is an overview of the MSR daily activity 3D data set. You can see that there is different activities like drinking, eating, read book, write on a paper, use the laptop, and then cheering up, sitting still, walking, because a person is like not just sitting still, he can stand up and then walk. So there is a pattern: sit still, stand up, and then walk. And then maybe he sit down again on a sofa. So we will create a pattern of the activities and then detect through the algorithm. So here is another data set, which is MSR action pair data set. Both data sets are different. Their names are quite close, but this data set has different activities, which include pick up and push and pull and wear and take off, and maybe sticking to some place or removing something from the shelf or cupboard. Then there's another MSR dataset which can also be used to detect the different activities. As you can see here, the person is waving his hand and he's also picking something from the floor. So this is another overview of the dataset, which includes drinking and eating too, and hitting and also jumping. So the pattern recognition is not one technique, but rather a broad collection of often loosely related knowledge and techniques. Pattern recognition capability is often a prerequisite for the intelligent systems. The data input for pattern recognition can be like text, images, or the audio files, which in my case will be images and videos. And because I'm working through the video sensing technology, so hence the pattern recognition is broader compared to the computer vision, which focus on the image recognition. Machine learning algorithms will be developed to analyze the correlation between the environmental data and the behavior of the patient, to monitor and facilitate the physical well-being of the people with dementia or other cognitive impairment. So pattern recognition can recognize familiar patterns quickly and accurately, and mostly hybrid algorithms are used for pattern recognition. Some of the best neural networks are like backpropagation, high order nets, time delayed neural networks, and recurrent nets are very good. Normally, feed forward networks are used for the pattern recognition system. So activity recognition algorithms depend on data collected using the sensors in the home. Daily activities such as entering or exiting the building, walking or sleeping routine, moving in the kitchen and corridors. And then activity recognition consists of several steps, including the raw sensor data. So data is not, generally activities are detected either through specific rules or by applying machine learning algorithms. Data is not available for the uncontrolled real environment. However, in this project, we aim to provide a robust and more generic approach to discover the underlying patterns of the participants' activities given a larger data set that contains labeled or unlabeled data. So the goal of the current work is to develop an innovative living environment which will empower people with dementia and their caregivers to benefit from the healthcare support and have better quality of life. Activity recognition, especially ADL and behavior pattern classification, is at the core of every ambient assisted living system, since it provides information about cognitive health progression or degradation. So the proposed system for pattern and unusual behavior detection of different activities within a smart environment will be highly valuable and probable, with an analysis system capable of making judgments and recognizing patterns and anomalous behaviors in the activities. After training the software, there will be test conditions to test the accuracy of the software. If succeeded, the proposed system for the pattern recognition of different activities within a smart suite apartment will be highly valuable and very probable. Once our algorithm will be trained, we will try to test it in a real environment, but that will also be a created scenario. For example, after training my algorithm, I can put a camera on the side and I can be working on my desk, and the camera will detect my activities, what I'm doing. Either I am sitting or I'm standing, I'm writing, or maybe trying something. So this will be a created scenario to test the algorithm after training. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you. Any questions are welcomed.